Now, before we go getting into the video proper, I just figure I should announce the winner of the giveaway, and that would be Squeaky Sammy. If you haven't received your email by now, which you should have, I sent it out on Saturday, check your trash and check your spam folders. If you got anything from the Midnight Station, should be good there. If not, leave a comment down below and we'll try to get that all sorted out for you. Anyway, with all that out of the way, this video this week is going to see how much it's going to cost to fix up one of the settlements, one of the houses in one of the settlements, Fallout 4. So to start this entire idea off, I wanted a place that wouldn't be too hard for a normal person to fix up. Something that's not too bad from the outside looking in. And just someplace that's simple, right? No better place to start than someplace that's, beginner friendly. So looking through basic settlements and whatnot, the one I came across that I really liked, already talked about it in the past, Kingsport Lighthouse. Big ass lighthouse, lighthouse keeper's house. I was going to say house in one sentence. It's got a dock, it's got a boathouse, it's got a boat too. You can't really do anything with the boat, but it's there. So, what the idea is here, the lighthouse is fine. We don't need to mess with the lighthouse at all, right? That's made out of like brick, it's good, it's structurally sound, it's not going anywhere. So, we don't need to worry about the lighthouse. The dock and the ship and whatnot, we're not going to count those in this. We're just going to work on the house proper, okay? So the idea is, what would it actually take to fix one of these houses up? One of these Fallout-style houses everyone seems to be living in. How much would it actually cost us, as a person, to have this house fixed? Materials, time, labor, effort, all of that. And, let's see if we can actually, make them nice and whatnot. So, let's get into it, I guess. So, we're going to start outside and at the foundation, where you should be checking anyway, any house working on. The foundation for the House of Kingsport Lighthouse, always fun, seems to be a laid concrete. I'm going to say stone. It's not stone. Concrete brick, technically. With most likely a poured concrete slab in the center of it, which is where the house proper sits. You got your footer around the outside. You got your poured concrete around the inside. Going around the outside of it, it seems fine. There's no cracks. There's no major breaking. There's nothing. In fact, it looks better than a lot of foundations I've seen in real life. So, that's neat. So, we might as well just head directly inside to see what we got to work with. Heading directly into Kingsport Lighthouse, you are taken into the living room. Not really all that much wrong with it. The floor is completely fine, which is weird for a Fallout house, especially in Fallout 4. Floor in the living room is fine. The walls, whilst the plaster seems to be cracked and the wallpaper peeling, also seem fine. So, not really much to worry about here. Mind you, each of the doors, there's a front door and there's a back door. Each of those doors has windows in a weird spot, mind you. Most front doors and back doors have windows in the center, so you can just pull a curtain to the side and look. It doesn't have them way up at the top for some reason. No idea why. So, those are broken. Wouldn't really say it's a hard fix, right? There's enough lumber and stuff laying around the lighthouse that it would just be easy enough to cut a plank to size, fit it into it, nail it into place, maybe put some little trim around it if you want it to look nice. You can get those holes plugged up on those doors and they'd be looking fine. New coat of paint would be good. So, we'll just say fixing the doors, not really going to cost anything. Not really going to be anything to worry about. We're not going to be replacing the windows that you can't look through anyway with anything else. So, nothing really to worry about there. So, let's pivot to one of the other rooms that come off of the living room. Let's say the sunroom or the sun porch, depending on where you are. Now, if you don't know what this is, not surprising. A lot of houses don't have them nowadays. A lot of older houses do, and a lot of houses that old people move into usually have one built onto them. What they are is simple. Usually rooms joined to the house with very large windows that the person can just sit and bask in the sun in. Hence why it's called a sun porch or a sunroom, right? This one here, it's not all that wide, not all that long. Every window's broken. On top of every window being broken in here, the floor's fine, which is, again, weird. Fallout. The roof on this little addition is sagging in the center, which really isn't all that surprising when the entire wall is just made up of windows, so probably wouldn't be too much of a fix, or a hassle of a fix. Take out the center where the window is, put a new beam in, jack it up, fine. So, not going to chalk that up to too much of an issue there, so that's okay, that's okay. Get new windows to replace the ones that are there. Quite frankly, if it were entirely up to me, it'd add a lot onto the amount at the end, but I just go through, stud everything out, because, you know, like knee height and down is all just perfectly good wall. Tear out the windows, stud everything out, build walls inside out, maybe keep one window per wall, and then just call it a day. But as it is right now, we're just going to redo the windows that are here, right? Keep it as close to the original as we can. So, new windows for the sunroom, which there's a lot of windows in this thing. So, sun porch dealt with. Let's slide on over to the kitchen then. The kitchen. The appliances are actually kind of integral to this entire thing. I'll explain in a minute. But first, let's just talk about the kitchen here. Bunch of windows in it. I think there's 2 on each wall there, and then like 3 in the center in the little bump out, like breakfast nook, if you will. The floor, again, fine. Some bloodstains and whatnot, but it gives it that Fallout charm. Ceiling, though, ceiling is an issue. There are some holes in the ceiling, which is not surprising. But the holes and stuff are actually easy to remedy in the situation. Unlike normal drop ceilings that are usually like some type of larger tile or whatnot, this is a plank ceiling. A plank ceiling that is technically the floor of the attic. Fun. So all we got to do is pull up the boards and stuff that are broken, put new boards down. From the looks of it, it's no more than like 4 or 5 boards that are broken. So we'll keep that in mind as we move forward here. On top of that, every window's broken. Because of course it is. I don't understand how every window in every house is just broken. Like, I get it, they want to try to sell off the pressure wave that hits, but we talked about that in the video on looking for the nuke that actually hit Boston. If you're getting hit with a pressure wave that hard, that far away from Boston, everything is gone, right? So, anyway, windows are all gone. They're not even boarded up or anything. They're just broken and gone. So, that's pretty much the kitchen sorted and talked about. So, let me explain on how kitchen appliances helped me figure out a lot of the measurements here. I'm not really going too deep into the measurements on any of these things because I feel like they would be boring for you. If you guys want me to go into measurements and stuff in like the next one, I can. Quick breakdown though. The stove in the house. Most gas stoves, hard to say for some reason, most gas stoves follow the same dimensions. They're like 30 inches across, right? I have one in my house. I just used the measurements off of that one. They've all been standardized at this point, so it's easier just to remove them and put new ones in. So there you go. So, grabbed a mod that allows me to just move around the stoves and stuff. It actually adds a stove in that's a crafting station, but it's a stove that looks like one of the stoves in game but fixed up. All to do. But it's accurate to size in-game of the normal stoves and stuff you find, so I use that as a basis. Unique thing about this mod is that the stoves clip together. That way it makes it nice and easy to put like your countertops and stuff with it. But they clip together to each other, which gives us a unit of measurement. That's 30 inches clipped together side by side. So with that, I was able to measure the house. The house, if you want to know, the main house itself is like 15 feet by like 30 feet, which is really fucking small. Okay? To put that into perspective, I live in a house trailer, right? House trailer, mobile home, manufactured home, modular home, whatever you want to call it. It has to be small enough to tow down the road without permits. You could always go get an oversized load permit if you wanted to, but you don't have to if they're narrow enough. This house that I live in is 14 feet wide by like 80 feet long, right? So this house is fucking small, okay? And that's just the main room. The kitchen, on the other hand, is like another 15 feet by like, it's like 10 feet. Either 10 or 15 feet by like 15 feet. Can't remember the measurements off the top of my head. The sunroom there is like 7.5 feet-ish by like 10 feet. So, again, not a huge footprint for a house or anything like that. It does have a second floor, which, well, I guess we might as well move to the second floor now that I've explained these measurements and stuff. Well, before we do, I also use the measurements of the stove to size out how big the windows are and also how tall the ceilings are. The ceilings, you need to know, doesn't really matter when talking about square footage of a place, but the ceilings on the first floor and second floor are like 10 feet. So, not really anything to worry about there. But now, let's move on to the second floor. The second floor. The second floor of this house is weird. And in that it's pretty much a big-ass room. A lot of the houses in Fallout 4 are like this for some reason. I don't understand why. It's just weird to me. You go up the stairs, which you go up a small flight, and then there's a landing, and then you go up the rest of the way. Like an L-shaped staircase. A lot of older houses have them for saving space, right? Especially houses that added a second floor later because you don't really have it worked out into the floor plan, so just take a corner. You're good to go. But yeah, no, there's no railing along the staircase at the top, and it's just a big empty room, a big open room. Usually, in this house, it's a little different, and quite frankly, this surprised me to see that this place has a full bathroom, really big bathroom too. No idea why the bathroom is so big. Well, I do know why the bathroom is so big. It's a quirk of video games, right? In real life, you experience everything around you, even if you can only see like 180 degrees or so directly in front of you. You're aware of everything else around you, though, right? So when you go into a bathroom, you can pretty much be backed up against the wall and see everything in front of you, and, you know, still seems like a larger space because you're experiencing, right? Video games and stuff, not really how they work, so they need to make the rooms larger than they have to be to accommodate for that feeling, right? The bathroom in my house, for instance, again, we already discussed that my house is about square footage-wise, about the same, actually. But, the bathroom area without the washer and dryer, because I have a washer and dryer in my bathroom, is about 4 feet by about 10 feet. Leaves about 4 foot for the hallway. So, yeah, it's not bad overall. And I have a full shower in it. I have toilet sink, you know, good shit. It's larger, longer. Doesn't bump out into the hallway anymore. Since I have the washer and dryer in it as well. But that adds on another like 3 feet lengthwise to the room. Doesn't matter. Anyway, what I'm getting at is there's a bathroom up here, which means there's a bathroom wall that is supposed to separate the bedroom, air quotes, from the bathroom, and that wall is completely torn down to studs. Some of the studs have even been destroyed, so they're going to need replacing. The entire wall is going to need to be replaced, and yeah, there's more windows up here, same style as the ones in the kitchen, all broken again, all going to need to be replaced. Biggest things up here, though. One, massive fuck-off hole in the wall, leading out to the roof over top of the kitchen, because, again, the kitchen is an addition that was added on, so there's just a small peaked roof over top of that. Which leads us into the roof. Half the roof over the kitchen is gone. And about half of the roof over top of the rest of the house is also gone. And this is the really weird part about the roof being gone. the walls are fine, right? The walls where the roof used to sit are fine. Like, if a roof fell in on itself, the walls would bow in some from the weight pulling the walls forward because the roof is attached to the walls. So, yeah, no, it looks like someone just removed these beams because this roof is held up with fucking beams. Just removed them for some reason, which is strange. That moves into the roof proper, right? First floor, 10 feet or so high. Second floor, 10 feet or so high. The roof itself is about 10 feet in height, and it has a very steep angle, very steep pitch to it. Almost an A-frame house design type pitch. I was wondering why they decided to do that with this until I realized, messing around in the settlement engine there, that Bethesda used prefabs for their houses and whatnot. So they pretty much just stuck together a bunch of prefab parts, and I'm guessing the prefab parts needed to be a certain height. So the peak of the roof, from where it starts to where it ends, is about the height of a floor for some reason. I don't know. It's weird, is what it is. And this is the same peak style roof that is used over top of the kitchen. Not the same type of one that's used over the sun porch, because that's more of a lean-to style roof. So that's weird. But yeah, no. Roof, half of it's gone. The half that's still there, the actual roof decking, is going to need to be replaced. Beams are going to need to be brought in. The wall's going to need to be replaced. The beams are, just estimating here, like 8 by maybe 12 by about 16 feet in length. So that's a hefty fucking piece. And then this is a big one. They have beams that span the entirety of the house. Those go down, then those on top. That's 15, 16 feet again that way. It's crazy. It is insane how over-engineered just the roof of this house is to me. Right? There's an old saying amongst people that build shit. Anyone can build a bridge, but it takes an engineer to build a bridge that barely stands, right? And that's true for anything. Anyone can build a house. It's just, it takes a really good person to build a house that barely fucking stands. Now, with the roof on the top of the house and the roof on the kitchen talked about, we need to talk about the outside of the house, okay? I got right up close with free cam to the outside of the house, take a look-see at it, see how bad it is. And that's when I realized the texture they used on the side of the house to make it look worn and weathered actually shows that the siding has been tore away. Just massive chunks of it have been tore away. And you can see the interior of the wall. Which I wasn't really going to talk about the interior of the walls and stuff, because why would you want to? Why would you need to? But now we kind of have to. The way walls work is you have main structure, the studs, if you will. You usually have cladding on the outside. Usually some type of vapor barrier, and then you have your siding. On the inside of that, you usually have your insulation, interior wall. Not too much, right? That usually equates for a hefty bit there. 2, 3, 4, sometimes 6 or 8 inches in thickness of the wall. This house here, on the other hand, is like 1 to 2 inches thick for the exterior walls. So, yeah, when you look through these holes in the texture, you're literally seeing the interior wall on the other side of it. It also shows us that these houses have no insulation in them at all, which is weird. Like, I understand they probably don't have fiberglass insulation or whatnot. You know, it's fallout. They might have asbestos insulation. But before anyone goes saying that these houses are old houses, therefore they'd have old insulation in it, yeah, it has none of that either. Right? If you go back far enough, the insulation that would be used would be like get with the Spanish moss? Maybe. You find it in chairs and stuff too when they're old enough. A lot of that, sometimes hay and other stuff like that, just packed in the wall, right? Now, interior walls are different. Sometimes they just leave a gap, an air gap in between them, and that would be fine. But yeah, no, this house does not have thick walls, and it has nothing insulating it. Quite frankly, before the end of the world, the winters in Boston would have just been fucking terrible in this house. But we're not going to talk about that. You know what? We will talk about that. We'll talk about that after everything else. Okay? But for right now, just understand all the siding needs to be tore off. We need new siding for the entirety of the house. All right? So, let's start tossing out prices on material. Prices and material. Why not? Seems like good enough time as any. Okay, so materials list and price. Got my list pulled up over here that I was taking whilst doing the B-roll for this video that you're seeing behind me. So let's start where I've talked about the most so far. Pretty much every room has had these, so might as well talk about them now. 11 standard house windows. They standard, 30 to like 32.5 inch wide by, the drill here. Okay, we need 11 of those windows. Now, I'm in the Northeast, and this game is set in the Northeast. And right now, especially nowadays, you can really only find double pane glass, which, if you don't know what double pane glass is and why that's important, I'll give you a quick little rundown here. Double pane glass is two panes of glass that are sealed. And they have a pocket in between them that is filled with an inert gas. If you have, for instance, a double-walled cup like this is the same principle. It's double-walled. It's two walls with an inert gas in it that helps insulate it. These windows work the same way. They help insulate. That way you don't lose too much heat due to the window itself. Even just in the late 90s growing up, when I was a kid, I remember living in an old farmhouse up here in the mountains of the Northeast, and sitting over by the window in the middle of wintertime and watching the frost freeze on the window, right? That doesn't happen anymore because we no longer have that issue. Better insulated windows, that was one of the biggest things where you would lose heat in the wintertime. Just amazing someone thought of it that way. But yeah, we need 11 of those for the house. 11 of those, current pricing where I am, is $3,388. A lot of money, but it's a lot of windows, okay? You think that's a lot of money? Well, gonna get you on the next one then. 8 custom sun porch windows. The windows on the sun porch are to a size to where you need to custom order them, right? Most likely also going to be double paned. That way people can charge you more. And there's not just 8 of them. I said there's 8 big ones. There's technically 16 windows in the sunroom. There's 8 of the very large ones, which are, I think, 60 inch by 45 inch. Very large windows. And then there's smaller windows above those. We're just going to count them all as like 1 window each to keep the tally simple. But 8 custom sun porch windows. Double paned, most likely storm grade glass, because we're on a cliff next to the ocean. You're looking at about $1,000 a window, which I know it's a lot, but you're getting a lot for what it is, right? Storm grade glass that's double paned, that's meant for areas like this, is going to cost you. So that's 8 custom windows, $8,000 all in all. And then you got yourself a good set of windows that could stop a 2x4 going like 200 miles an hour from entering your home. It's amazing. Quite frankly, a lot of people buy these types of windows just to have on their bottom floor of their home so people can't just smash the windows and stuff in. They are that good, right? So there's the windows. And now we move into the biggest cost of fixing up this house. The roof. The roof timbers in this case, because that's what they are. I had to go through and get a quote from a sawmill I know, rough cut lumber to the diameter, to the dimensions of I spoke of earlier, about 8 by 12 inch by about 16 feet long per. That gives us a little wiggle room on the ends to be able to cut them down and shore them up as needed. Yeah, we need, let's see, 27 of those for the main house. Be custom cut to our length and specification. You're looking at about $13,500 just for lumber for the main house roof. Not even counting the kitchen roof yet, right? Kitchen roof, we're going to need another 9. Another 9 set up the same goddamn way. Why? Like I said earlier, the roof is a kit. It's part of a kit that Bethesda used to be able to make making houses very easy. Plop someone down, 10 minutes later, they could have a house asset done, right? And that's the thing. That's the thing right there. They used the same asset for the roof on the main house as they did for the roof on the kitchen, which means it needs the same lumber. So another 9 of these is another $4,500 added onto the bill so far. But upside to it, you're never going to need to worry about these things fucking rotten. That's for sure. Okay, so next thing is still an addition and continuation of the roofing. And that's the framing lumber for the roof, right? We have the big central timbers that pretty much hold everything up, but we still need to be able to branch in between them and hold them together from shifting side to side. And that's what this lumber is for. So 2x4s, 2x6s, maybe 2x8s, if you're feeling saucy, varying lengths and whatnot. All of that, I'd say another $500 or so. That's my phone. So, as I was saying before my phone went off, that's about $500 for just the framing timber and whatnot there. Moving on to the next part here would be roof sheathing, or roof decking, or whatever you want to call it. It's the actual roof, right? This is the large, flat hunks of wood you set down that you attach to the beams. Most of the time it'll be rafters. We're just going to call these beams. And that's your actual roofing. You put your shingles and stuff on it, which we'll get to here in a second too. For this house, for the entirety of the roofs, we'd need about 50 sheets of this stuff. We're going with 1/2-inch OSB. OSB is a type of chipboard. Chipboard's come a long way in the last 2 decades. Not plyboard. Plyboard is pretty much it's a tree that's kind of unraveled and then laid flat. Chipboard, on the other hand, is mulch that's been soaked in pretty much epoxy or glue and then pressed into a sheet, right? While chipboard's not really great for high contact areas, it's usually fine for roofing, usually fine for some types of flooring, and usually okay for walls and stuff in some places. Just any place you're gonna be like hands-on with that's unprotected, you don't really want to use it for, because it will peel apart and it will chip apart, right? So 50 sheets of that, $600, give or take. The next thing we need for the roof is the felt underlayer. The layer that goes down, pretty much a vapor barrier, a standard barrier there. Goes down, usually stapled into place. Gives you something easy to work with, work on top of. Creates a good barrier to keep everything safe. By the by, we're going to need about 4 rolls of that, and that's going to be about $144, which isn't too bad. Now we get into the actual roofing, right? There's all different types of roofing, depending on where you are. There are tar shingles, there are cedar shingles, there are... Up around where I live, people started switching over to metal. Not even just corrugated metal or anything like that. Just extruded metal. And or just bent metal, as we call it. Usually rolled off of a big-ass... I'm going to say spool. I guess technically spool. Bundle? Whatever. Rolled out, crimped up along the sides, so you can have it as long as you need to. That way it can be special cut to the length of the roof you need. We're not going with any of that because that's not what is on it. What is on it is just normal architectural shingles there. We're going to need about 50 bundles of those. Rather err on the side of caution than not. We have 3 different rows technically to do here, so 50 bundles of that, $2,200. Fun. Next, we're going to need the miscellaneous hardware for working on the roof. Nails, screws, hangers, all the odds and ends, all that happy good shit. Toss another 500 on there. That way we don't need to worry about it. Now we're going to move to the siding. The siding in the house there. Vinyl siding this day and age isn't too bad. House this size to the dimensions and stuff that I quoted earlier. Again, rather err on the side of caution than not. I'm going to go a little overboard with it. We're going to need about 50... Nope, give me a second. Didn't give an exact number. Gave a price because it's per like square footage there. About $3,400 to do the entire house and have extra over just in case. Right? That's easy enough to set aside to be able to repair anything later on down the road, which is what we usually do. We usually end up with like a flat or so left. We set that aside for the owners in case they just need to, I don't know, maybe a tree branch hits their house or something and cracks a couple pieces. They can just pop them off, pop new ones off. So that's fine there. Now we're going to head inside again. This isn't too bad. Plaster repair. Like I said, the interior of the house is strangely okay. So we'll scrape the wallpaper off, sand the plaster back, and just plaster, paint everything. All the supplies we're going to need for that, about $650 to do the entire house on the inside. Not bad, because that's a lot of area to cover, right? Not too bad there. Gonna head upstairs now to the bathroom wall that needs redoing, which means pretty much tearing out everything that's there, building a new wall, putting a new door in it. About $350 for the materials needed, which would be the wood for the wood for the framing and the material for the walls. I don't know why that was so hard to say. And then we're going to need a door. Interior doors nowadays, most reputable places. $300, you could probably get one cheaper secondhand, but whatever. Wondering what the difference between an exterior door and interior door is. Exterior doors are usually solid core. Interior doors are pretty much just I think kind of like a picture frame, just with 2 sides. They're hollow inside is what I'm getting at. I don't know why I was explaining it like that. Material for the kitchen wall and kitchen ceiling. I say kitchen wall. The big-ass hole in the wall on the second floor is directly above the kitchen. That all needs to be redone, which means we're going to need to build it to a standard of an exterior wall. At an interior wall, so material cost on that reflects that of about $300. It's a very small section. It's like maybe 5 feet width, so it's not too bad. And we already went with the siding and whatnot on the outside, and the materials for doing the plaster inside also cover this too, so that's good there. Odds and ends, trim boards, tack nails, stuff like that. Another $250 just in material there to get everything all fixed up and looking good. And what that does is that fixes the roof, makes the outside look nice, repairs all the windows, makes the inside look nice. Makes it look like a nice house at that point, right? So let me give you the final tally here on material costs to rebuild Kingsport Lighthouse Keeper's House Fallout 4. And the grand total material cost itself would be $38,482. We can just round that up to $38,500 just for other tack-on miscellaneous, whatever. But we're not done yet. Right, let's take into consideration how much you would have to pay someone to do this, okay? So me, personally, when doing random jobs and stuff for people, general contracting, I try not to charge more than like $25 an hour, right? You go anything over that and people start getting bigger bills, they don't like it, you know how it is. A couple hours work, knock something out, they're more than happy to pay though, right? So $25 an hour, 10-hour days. I'd estimate single guy working on this because the only like extensive thing, getting the timbers and stuff into place. But this is, we're going off the hypothetical of you can get everything in there to do it yourself. You're looking at about 2 to 3 months for a single person. You know what you're doing, and you can magic the timbers up into place without too much of an issue. Not that bad. Not that bad. In which case, 2 months. 2 months is about $12,000 added on to the overall price. 3 months, about $18,000 added on to the price. So for the materials and 2 months worth of cost, you're looking at like $50,000 to rebuild a small house in Fallout 4. Hold on, we're not done yet. Now, I haven't parted this out quite as completely as I did with the other stuff, because this was more of a last-minute addition of me thinking. This house has very thin walls, and it has, like, no insulation in it. What would we have to do to get this house to, like, the modern standard? Well, one of the easiest things to do would probably be spray foam insulation. By the by, we peel the outer layer off, which we'd need to do to put the new siding on anyway. Spray foam insulation, you're only getting 1 to 2 inches of spray foam in there. But especially the newer, like, fast acting spray foam that cures and sets up in all of a few seconds. 1 inch of that spray foam has the insulating quality of like a foot of brick. 2 to 3 inches of that'll do you just fine. But we can always go even further than that. Well, we got the siding off, spray foam insulation, put the siding back on. Well, put the new siding on. Then we head inside. It's going to cost a good bit, but you pretty much re-stud the inside of the house. New spray foam inside the house as well. Then new walls over top of it. Probably drywall would be the cheapest. Paneling is kind of expensive nowadays. Unless you can find that really weird, like, snap together paneling and stuff that they used in like the 70s. Not really a thing anymore. But you would need to redo the entirety of the interior of the house. I haven't even gotten into like moving plumbing around and moving electrical stuff around or anything like that. So that would just figure that would probably add another $20,000-$30,000 onto the overall price of this, just because of what it has to accomplish. But yeah, no, we'll just stick with the original there, because that looks good on paper. A 15-foot by like 30-foot house, missing half its roof, taking about $50,000 to fix, which is crazy. But it does make me wonder what some of the bigger houses in Fallout 4 would take to fix. End of the day, like Crop Manor, or the house on Spectacle Island, which I think is almost exactly the same. It's the same building kit as the Crop Manor one. Crop, whatever. So it's insane what material costs nowadays to be able to fix and use to fix houses and whatnot, which I'm still dealing with right now. Just noticed that today, mind you. Raining outside, you might be able to hear it, you might not be able to hear it. I had a tree branch fall on my house like a month or so ago. Thought I got everything fixed from it. Ceiling started leaking earlier today. 2 places in my kitchen. Fucking fun. I'm gonna have to hunt down that problem. Then I'm gonna have to rip out a bunch of insulation, because that's all just soaked through at this point. So yeah, that's gonna be fucking fun. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If this is your first or second time here, you enjoyed your stay. If it's your third time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on when I post. Winner of the contest was announced in the beginning of the video. Will also be pinned down below. And I guess we'll give away another game here. I have an entire list of games that I have at the moment. So let's go with BioShock 2. Giving away BioShock 2. Link to enter should be down below. Go ahead and comment, like, subscribe, all that, because interaction is what drives YouTube at the moment, beyond anything else. So, like, comment, hype. Mostly comment. They really like the comments there. And I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe out there.